We started 15 years ago. My company name is Foojee. Last year we did 1.3 million in revenue, 10 employees. And we did 25% growth last year. This year we're looking at $35,000 in tax savings. That's awesome. What you guys are doing, not being reactive, but actually being proactive.
Hello everyone. Just for everyone who listening here, my name is Patra Francis. I am the IRS enroll agent. And today I have our clients. I have a pleasure to speak with Lucas Acosta, if I pronounce your last name correctly, because usually I just call you with your first name, right? Did I pronounce your last name correctly, Lucas Acosta?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that's it. Perfect.
Yes, he's our cybersecurity and IT expert, and Lucas owns a successful IT consulting firm, and he's one of our value clients. And additionally, I also have Marisol. She's our superstar accounting manager here. She's helping. She is a CPA and also Lucas advisor. So Marisol, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
My name is Marisol Sines, and I'm a CPA in Texas, and I've been working with Lucas on his account as an advisor. My background started in the public accounting. I worked for Deloitte & Touche for about 6 years, and then I left after being a manager. And really the big shift was taking all the knowledge that I learned and then bringing it over to, it's considered small business industry, but it's, a pretty large industry, working directly with owners. So I've definitely enjoyed that a lot more.
Thank you, Marisol. And today I will be speaking with Lucas about his journey as a business owner and our process of working together and the value we have created together and how we can further promote his business. We can go ahead and get started then. And Lucas, can you tell the audience a bit about yourself and your business? Like, how
Sure.
many team members do you have, your growth, your journey?
Sure, yeah, and I just want to say thank you for having me on. I am, I think, a poster child of what I think is a lot of small business owners out there, and working with you, Patra, and Marisol as our advisor has been awesome. So very happy, to be on and share a bit about kind of our journey. We started 15 years ago, and we are a company of 10 employees, and my company name is Foojee, and it started when I worked at Apple, actually. I started working at Apple when I was 19 years old, and I got this training job where I learned that I loved training. I love taking all of the new tech that's out there and kind of distilling it for everyday people to understand what's important, what's critical, what's dangerous, So I was a trainer at Apple, but I kept on hearing small businesses come in to the Apple store asking, hey, can you come to my office and help me with learning this, or maybe just helping with our network and our security? So I ended up starting Foojee to do just that, to help bring an Apple type of IT or help desk out to small business, because that doesn't exist. Apple does not have an Apple for small business, if you kind of think of it that way. There's no one to call, when you're running your business all by yourself. And there's plenty of Windows experts out there, because a lot of businesses run on Windows, but very few of them actually know the security protocols, and not just the security angle of the Mac, but how automated you can make the Mac to actually be cheaper in the long run than using Windows for your business. So you can tell I'm excited about it. We've been doing this for 15 years now, and there hasn't been one big break. It's been just kind of enjoying the journey, and little by little helping customers, helping small businesses overcome challenges and kind of learn this new tech. So that's a little bit about Foojee.
And that's how we met too, because I went to an Apple store to I think at that time I was looking for my own computer, and then I got connected to, because we were looking for a cybersecurity company already. And that's how I got connected with you at that time.
Yeah, that was perfect. So we got to help you with cybersecurity first. And then I started following you on Instagram and seeing your tips and thinking like, wait a second, my CPA isn't doing this. And you were just kind of introducing a new way of tax strategy, just to kind of like be like support the business owner, not just once a year. But I can't tell you how many calls I've had with Marisol at this point. We've only been working together for 4 months or so, and I already have had so many phone calls with both of you to actually, partner with me for not only Foojee's tax strategy, but also my family's tax strategy.
Yeah, because it's a different way of looking at taxes, right? Because like before, the way that like a traditional way, the way people think about tax and accounting is, it's kind of like the end of the year thing. Just do it for like to meet the requirement from the IRS, right? But actually, it is a lot more than that. Just for you to understand your financial, just for you to understand tax strategies and be able to implement it, because you can change the facts before it happens, right? When it happens, you cannot really go back to change the fact to make your tax more effective or pay less taxes. But we are here to kind of like guide you every quarter to let you know how can you make and pay minimum in taxes. So
Right. And what's crazy to me is like, there are these tax laws in the IRS that create, possibilities for small business owners that I didn't even know about, and I relate it to even what we do for security. Like some people come to us because they're scared, right? They want to be compliant and be protected against cybersecurity and ransomware, which is fine. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people out there that are scared of taxes. So they just they just want to say, hey, how do I just take care of this tax, challenge, because they don't know anything about it. But what you guys are doing is going further than that and not being reactive, but actually being proactive. And I see a lot of similarities in our business. We like to catch, find new customers before they've had something scary happen to them so that we can help prevent it. Actually, can I tell you like a little horror story that happened to one of our small business clients?
Oh yes, please.
So this is a 20-person company that got scammed out of several $100,000, and I'll tell you how that happened right before they found us. Okay, so their accountant, like internal, just kind of a bookkeeper, kind of a office manager role, their email had been hacked for months.
Oh wow.
And when we got introduced, we started to see what was happening, and the email hackers had been sending emails on behalf of their accountant in-house to tell their clients that they had changed banks with new bank wire information. So our new client didn't know that they were losing. It ended up being over $200,000 that they didn't know they were losing because they just thought they were unpaid invoices. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's fascinating how complex these scams have gotten and how deep they are. And what they were doing is even making email rules, sort of like your vacation, away message. They were making rules to route any of those replies to a separate folder in their Outlook so that the accountant didn't even see replies coming back to those certain clients that they were scamming to. So it's very sophisticated. And if they had found, we obviously locked that down immediately when we did a security audit of their Microsoft 365. And by the way, what's scary about this is they're a Mac shop. And Macs, here's the myth, is that
Yeah.
Macs don't have any security problems,
That's
right?
what
And
I've
if I just
heard.
use a Mac, yeah, like if I use a Mac, I'll be safe. But, and while that's true, just the landscape of security is now happening on the web, on the internet level, and through email, social engineering or social hacking, as they call it. So it really is up to your employees to be informed and to look out for things and follow certain procedures to make sure that they don't send money to the wrong party. So I say all that to say what we do is helping inform. We actually do videos for our clients to continually inform them and kind of be their IT department, be their partner that they see really every week of the year. You know, they're not in this alone, and we can help. Yes, we have the security tools and all the right things going on in their Microsoft or their Google account, but it's also about educating them and staying ahead of what's going on with AI, you know, or with email hacking, just the same way that you guys, I feel like between me and our director of finance at Foojee, we're talking with you guys probably weekly, sometimes big, you know, decisions, sometimes small. And we really feel like you're part of our company now. And so I've enjoyed that, because that's what we're trying to fill the same shoes for small businesses that just, they don't know any better. And it hurts me whenever, it pains my heart whenever small businesses kind of have to learn the hard way, you know? And so we're just trying to find really, and like you said, Marisol, small, like what does small really mean? It depends who you ask, but we have clients that are 5 people with no IT budget, and we help them step by step kind of build an infrastructure that works for them, and all the way to 100 employees. That's kind of our ideal
Your niche.
Small business, yeah.
Right. So you can take anywhere from, you said, 5 team member to like 100 team member, or can you go?
Exactly.
I see. Is that a
And
limit?
we help smaller ones. Sorry, just to kind of get on the right track, because there are actually free services. Like, this is crazy. I understand why no one knows this, because no one just reads tech news like
Yeah.
I do every day. But there are free services from Apple. Again, they cost $0 to set up an Apple account, so that all of your any iPhone, iPad, or Mac that you buy can be registered under your business, and you can have additional security protections, even if you just have like 1 or 2 Macs. They provide additional security layer if your business, or if your device is owned by a business. And where we see this go wrong is, just to give you an example, is when a business, again, doesn't have to be all that big, goes to the Genius Bar. You guys know that, like the repair shop at the Apple stores. Because an employee that just left their small business, unbeknownst to them, they weren't trying to be malicious or anything, they locked out the business from their laptop. Because their Apple ID, their personal Apple ID, was signed in to that company laptop. And if you're not careful, the employee might leave. Again, no malintent at all. But it renders that Mac almost useless, and you can eventually get it unlocked by Apple, but you're talking days or weeks to do that. So if you can buy or purchase your Apple products, again, free, through like the Apple's business channel, you can actually make sure that doesn't happen to you. We get calls, I can't tell you how many times a month, from people just call them like a bricked iPhone or a bricked Mac, and that they need help unbricking it from a terminated employee. So that's one little example of even small businesses and large, we can help make sure they have these free tools available to them from Apple.
Yeah, that's so important that for people to hear this, because not many people would realize that, right? That they thought that they already have a MacBook, it's safe, you don't get any virus or something. But actually, there
Yeah.
is beyond that. It's like email, Gmail, like because right now we are in the internet world and remote world too. So I'm so glad that we
Yes.
have you, Lucas. So because
Right, and that's what we do. And I don't know anything, I don't know what to look out for and how to prepare on the tax side. So, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But you guys have really saved a lot of confusion from me, and that's what we're trying to do too on the tech side.
yeah, thank you. And when you talk about cybersecurity, every time I hear it, the more yeah, we get like scared, right? Because we don't wanna get our client, because we in our line of work we handle so many sensitive financial and personal information from our clients, and from social security to like financial record, and our client trust us to to share that information with our company, and also to comply with the IRS requirement too. So at least we don't have to do it ourselves. And you read about IT, cybersecurity every day. It's just kind of like as we read tax code every day. So it's better to go to an expert like you and not trying to figure things out yourself.
Yeah, it really is, and that I've always outsourced my tax services because I knew that wasn't my strength. And over the 15 years of our growth, we've always just relied on, hey, let's just focus on what we do best and then hire other people to do what they do best. For example, like we don't support Windows, even though we could probably grow quite a bit in the Windows space. But what we do is we partner with a Windows company that does really good work in Windows. But we want to focus on what we do best, which is the Apple ecosystem.
Yeah, and I personally work with your team directly. Like sometimes I have like Gmail issue to like we have you like help us set all up, and your team very helpful. I know that I remember one time that I could not get into the Gmail or something, and I'll create a Gmail account for one of our team member, a brand new team member, right? And your team, Jeremy, he was like get on a Zoom call together and be able to help us, like, so I didn't have to like wasted a lot of time to figure it out myself. So
Exactly.
appreciate
Thank
that.
you for sharing that. Yeah, that's a perfect example. Like sometimes it's not these big, monumental challenges. It's like the death by 1,000 cuts, like the things that break up your day as a business leader. We can really, I think when people actually do an inventory of how much time is wasted just helping your employees, which we want to serve your employees, but is that the best use of your time? And so we've really found that the outsourced model is just so cost effective for helping these like very small businesses.
Yeah, thank you for being here. And you need to probably have to speak louder on what could happen on the cybersecurity side, right? Because people are not aware of that. So, and my next question to you is, we want to know like what challenges or issue were you facing before using our service, like in terms of accounting and taxes.
Yeah, sure. I can share a bit about that. So, and also just for context, last year we did 1.3 million in revenue. Mm-hmm. Okay. And we have 10 employees. And we did 25% growth last year. So we're customers are really finding great value in this type of service. We couldn't be more excited. We're growing quickly. But taxes, like I said before, was always kind of this reactionary, one time a year type of conversation that we had. Mm-hmm. And I just thought that, you trust your advisor, and they're great people. Like they're fine to work with, good customer service. My past CPA. But what I didn't know that I was having, is that I didn't have to be spending $30,000 to $60,000 a year in taxes. I was literally like just sending that cash on a silver platter to the IRS when I didn't need to be, because I didn't know of the certain benefits that I could take advantage of. So so just in the first year last year, where we kind of got I Met You Later in the year was like a $20,000 tax savings, and this year we're looking at over $35,000 in tax savings, and that's awesome, right? Like on its own right, that's real cash that, and as a small business owner, it hurts sometimes when these are like, we're putting blood, sweat, and tears into this business for our customers, getting paid to do like honest work. Yet the amount that we're spending on taxes could hire another person. Like that's real cash that's going back into our budget. And the reason why, so there's kind of like a happy outlook, but also like a bit of a sad story. I'll start with the sad story first. The sad thing is that for the last 10 to 15 years, I could have been saving $30,000, like roughly speaking, right? Like I haven't gone into all of it, but because of the strategies that I didn't know about and the incentives that the IRS has for small businesses, like it hurts to do the math. It's like I kind of want to ignore doing the math of how much money I've sent to the IRS, where I could have either gone to more employees, more profit, or like paid off a mortgage, with that money. And that's just crazy to think about. So, I can't dwell on the past. I've got to focus on now and the future. And what is, so the happy part of that, the good side is that moving forward, I feel like actually confident and optimistic about how to manage like our profits and how to allocate profits in the best possible way as we grow. Because listen, we're expecting to make more profit this year, and we have another aggressive goal of growth, right? We have customers lined up right now that are waiting for their enrollments with Foojee. And so as we grow, I know that Francis and Reeves will be able to modify, our strategy as needed.
Awesome to hear. And I'm sorry to hear that, you've been overpaid in taxes for 15 years, but now it's about time to change. And
yes.
Even though the 15 years you could buy a house with that amount of money, but that's okay. At least you acknowledge that, and now we're gonna move on to the next section of our life, right?
Yes, exactly. We'll just move on. We're in good company, and you make the best of what you can.
Yeah, and we appreciate your trust in this. And can you share with the audience, like, what are you projecting for your 2024? Now it's already 2024. How fast is that? You can just share your projection of your growth. We don't need to dive into your profit margin. That's totally fine.
We at the end of every year take a hard look at how our year went and do some forecasting for the next year, and we think we can do another 25% growth this year. So that involves hiring. So we also use a fractional CFO, just to let you guys know. Mm-hmm. And he helps us with kind of doing that forecasting budget. So we know when we're going to be hiring, and then how many new customers we're going to need before we can hire. So I've got a strong leadership team in place that's doing that forecasting, and I'm just trying to find small businesses before something scary happens to them. That's our favorite type of engagement. So we are firefighters. One client called us the Panic Busters. I don't know if he's a Ghostbusters fan or what, but he calls us the Panic Busters because anytime he has a panic, we dial in to his computer or we do a Zoom call, and we take care of him, among all the other stuff, the nerdy stuff that we do in the background.
Wow, it seems like a lot of work too. I mean, to do IT work.
You know, it is, and I think it takes a certain person to do it. Like, there's just always so much information, right, coming at you, especially with AI. Like, now you have to decide what information is real and what information is fake. Like, this election year is going to be wild. And I think people are going to have to just stick with a couple of news brands that they trust, because I've read that, you know, Meta and X, they're having to rethink how they do their moderation to identify the fake, like AI created content out there. And I think it takes someone and to do it right in IT. A lot of people in the IT industry. Did you know that there's no regulation in IT, by the way? So like, you guys as CPAs are regulated, right? You have to follow certain requirements to protect your client's information. The whole IT industry doesn't have that.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah. So the IT person that someone might be hiring, they might sound like they know what they're doing, but how do you really know? Like the mechanic telling you how much a car repair is going to cost, you know?
Yeah.
But anyone, literally anyone, can just start during high school, during college, can start offering services and sound like they know what they're doing. And so what we are trying to do is kind of create a gold standard for Apple IT. We want to set the bar for how IT companies should be held accountable, because there's all sorts of personalities in this industry. Some people that don't like all the news. They just, actually, that's what happened to that customer that lost $200,000. Their IT guy, again, he's a nice guy. He'd been working with them for over 5 years, but he was just comfortable fixing printers and kind of helping with email questions, doing the basics. And Foojee, on the other hand, we're swimming in it every day. I think it's kind of a reflection of my personality. I love mountain biking. Little tangent here. And in mountain biking, if you've never gone down a hill on a dirt path in the woods, you're missing out.
That's very scary though. If you do, that's very dangerous.
That sounds scary.
It is so fun, but at the same time, yeah, every time you ride that trail, like there's new branches, there's new boulders, there's new rocks, and even the temperature and the moisture can change the dirt and how much grip you have on the dirt. And so every time you ride the trail, this is kind of what's fun about it. It's a different trail. You know, you never ride the same trail twice. And you talk to some people, and that's absolutely terrifying. And they'll stay on the sidewalk, you know, and that's totally fine. And I think that there are IT people like that as well in our industry. And I love my job and I love my team because I get to focus on just getting into all this new technology, like AI and what's going on in the dark web, to understand what's scary, what's real. Hey, what might be really helpful? And in fact, I want to give you an example of an AI tool that is very helpful that we're now offering, and that's AI trained spam filtering. Okay, because these email scams are so sophisticated, and you guys are in the financial space, so you see them, right? People trying to wire you or receive money through a different bank account, or masquerading as another employee or something. This particular spam filter, it goes on top of your Google email or your Microsoft email. So they use them in tandem, and it's using all of the trends in the email space to identify scamming emails. And it looks at the language, from the person. It looks at the email address. Has this domain ever sent you an email before? And so it's a more sophisticated spam filter. And that's just a super cool example of, like, yes, there are some things about AI that are scary because hackers are using it too. But there's actually some beneficial tools that we can use that leverage the same AI to protect, our customers.
I see. Man, listening to all of this, and I think that you got also I want to touch the point when you were talking about choosing the right IT consulting firm, also important, because not all the IT consulting firm is created equal. The same thing as choosing an accountant it does not create equal either. So the reason why, we did a lot of research, like talking to different IT consulting firm before we choose to work with you, because when I talk to you, you sounds like, with your knowledge and your expertise that you share with me, and also not, sometimes you talk to different, because it's the area we don't know, right? Because we in tax, we're not in IT. So when you talk to different people, it sounds like that everybody can know. But when we talk to you, you already know you're passionate about IT. That's why we choose you. That's number one factor. And the second factor is that Apple refer you to, because you are the third party provider that do you have to kind of like get the license from Apple or something like that? That's why they refer it to you, because it's not everybody could get into that pool, right? They are pretty picky about that too.
Right. Yes, that is true. So Apple does have this certified network called the Apple Consultants Network. So they do have kind of a minimum standard so that the Apple stores in your city, can recommend. And so, but within that pool, there's still different philosophies and kind of different offerings and how people choose to invoice and how they bill and do their time. So, so there is, some standardization, and the angle that we've found just so successful, because we've had clients now that have been with us for all 15 years, is that we want to be part of your org chart and own the IT security for one fee, so that it's predictable. And as your team grows, we just do our billing based per person. So it's super affordable. And there's not like this surprise bill that happens, because that's also, it took me a couple years to learn this, but it's terrible when like there's a computer crash or something happens to your email or whatnot, and then you get a bill for several $1,000s. Like
those hidden fee, right?
Yeah, it's like it adds insult to injury. Like I actually just broke my collarbone writing. So I hope
you don't take your kid with you.
So the collarbone broke, and then getting the bill is like a double, like that almost hurt more than just the bone breaking, So with our business model and our pricing model, it stays the same, because we're the ones that should be accountable for your IT costs. And if something goes belly up, if something doesn't like breaks or something happens, that's our fault, right? So we take ownership and we trust in our processes that we're going to take care of that, of your IT for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lucas, for sharing about your company and yourself. I appreciate that. And now my next question for you is, I want to hear more, and the audience probably want to hear more about your experience. How would you describe overall experience working with me and our team?
Awesome.
Like from the first day that we have kick-off call until until like every like tax planning delivery, and also like quarterly meeting.
Sure. It really did start, in fact, before the tax planning, the kickoff call. Like, Patra, your ability to just ask questions and kind of get the big picture and just 4 minutes. Like, I remember our first phone call. It was after you became a client of ours, right? And we were doing your IT, and you just instantly went into this advisor mode and asked these really good questions that made me realize, like, oh, okay, maybe I'm missing out on something. I don't feel like I'm well informed, right? So from even from your side, Patra, it was a very good experience to kind of see your expertise. And then the kickoff call, I love so much because as a fellow small business, we're always trying to create procedures, right? Procedures to better take care of our customers so that every customer gets the best experience and nothing falls through the cracks. And not a lot of small businesses do that because it's hard, right? But what I looked for and what I was hoping for on your kickoff call actually exceeded my expectations, because whenever we've had a planning call with Marisol or you, it's clinical, it's awesome. Like, and I know that we're addressing every part of our business and every part of my family's tax strategy as well, because you actually have a worksheet for it. And what I love about it, so the nerd coming out in me, is that you guys do these with Google Docs. And what that tells me is that you are changing your templates constantly. And so the next customer you hire, or that hires you, you're getting the best template, for them on that kickoff call. So we use Google Docs as well for that same reason. So I can tell, not only is everything laid out, I can say how many steps we've been through together, 100, 200, who knows? But they're all laid out, which I absolutely love. And then after that kickoff call, during that kickoff call, we already had our next couple of calls scheduled for a month later or 2 months later. So I always felt like there was something next that we were going to tick off, and like, I never felt like out of place of, what's happening next, or what do you need from me? So I know process isn't always a flashy, selling point, but one of my favorite things about your organization is the process, and I feel secure that you guys have that nailed down.
I think you, in the point of when you're talking about process, I know that it's not like just like what you said, right? It's not very like a fancy or anything, but in order to scale a business, you need to have like internal process and procedure in place, right? And it's not always like perfect at the first time. And in our company, we are trying to improve every time. And when you talk about, and I'm so glad that to hear your feedback about your experience on the kickoff call and the whole process, because like when you compare to like other accounting firm, when you talk about kickoff call, it's only they're trying to get the login or your tax return, like basic financial information, but nothing related to help you kind of like think about, okay, your projection, your goal, your plans, and like action step, right? And we cover all that. And I think the area that I like is like 5 key topics that you want us to focus on, so we are clear on what is it important for you, so we can deliver to the client.
I love that. Yeah, that's not one of my strengths. It's funny, you just reminded me of my 5 concerns. I actually don't remember what my 5 concerns were. That's just not the way my brain works. But you shared those 5 concerns with me, and I think on a separate call several weeks later, you shared those again with me. So I love that you guys, hold on to that, so that as a CEO, I don't have to think about that, right? And I trust that Marisol has like, the next several weeks of kind of the strategy hammered out. Because you're right, at this size of our business, we need, at any size, you need someone that you can trust to do that. I mean, I could have totally used you in my first year of business, honestly. I just didn't know what I was missing, and I didn't know that you guys existed. But yeah, having you guys just follow through those procedures has been awesome.
Awesome. And would you recommend our service to other people? Would you give us like a 5-star review?
Absolutely. Anything you guys would want, I would absolutely recommend fellow businesses. In fact, I've even recommended friends to you guys, because it's finally, I found like a CPA service that actually cares. And what's another obstacle that I think you guys have done well is your team. And I had a mentor when I was younger tell me, hey, IT, you're basically an HR company because your product is your people, right? Mm-hmm. And that customer service experience and managing those people. And I think, you guys are in professional services too. And at the end of the day, your product is how well your people step up and how, their relationship with their work at Francis and Reeves. And so I could just see through Marisol and like, even though you guys, I'm sure, are growing, I wouldn't know it because I feel like I'm the only customer, working with Marisol. And I have that attention, from her. And I have you on occasion for random questions, but yeah, I feel like I've got my advisor right here whenever we need it.
Awesome to hear. Marisol, you want to give a few words on this?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Lucas. And it's, and it really is like you said, it's different feeling a part of versus being part of the team. Like it does make a difference when it's more like I don't want to say a partnership, but almost, right? Like we are only as good as you are to us. Like whatever information you give to us, then we're able to do work with that. So you've also been very, very responsive, great to work with. So I'm excited to continue to see the savings.
Cool.
This year.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
And learning, right? And I mean, I just learned so much from just this call on. I was just really present to value during this call. The value, not just that we've provided for you, but also like the value that you're providing, not just us, but like Patrick said, your passion for the world, like saving people before they have to go through these nightmares, which is again what we're working to do too.
That's true. And what's crazy, and thank you for that, Marisol. Like every day there really is like a large scale data breach that's going on. And it just reminds me when you said that, like, for example, one that happened last year was like Callaway golf clubs. Like, I don't golf, okay? But anyone who's ever bought a Callaway golf club, their customer database was breached, and all those emails and phone numbers. But most importantly, what scared me when I read through this one is that all of the customers' security answers or security questions were exposed. So like, where did you meet your spouse, or what was your pet's first name, or your first pet's name, or something like that. Over 1 million just innocent Callaway customers are just doing their work, playing golf. Their data is now exposed on the dark web. And by the way, you can buy that data. I have a shopping list for dollars. Literally, you can convert your dollars to cryptocurrency and purchase these security answers for like $5, $15, depending on what you're wanting.
Wow.
And so basically the point is, even if you're doing the right thing, you think you're doing the right thing, hey, you use a Mac, I'm nice and secure, I use Microsoft for email, there's still so many more preventative measures that you can be taking to keep everything stable, because you just never know. And now that's the scary part, but also we also like to emphasize on the fun part of helping you. So whenever you do have a question about something on your computer, hopefully we can also share like a keyboard shortcut, or hey, did you know you could save time here, or have you heard of this app? So your IT person, whoever you have, should also be free flowing. And Marisol, to your point, there's always more nerd information in our brains, so we just don't want to bore people. But your IT person should be sharing, the latest tools that they're using too, because there's some good stuff out there.
I think we should invite you to do like a webinar talking about cybersecurity for our small business clients sometimes, for them to be aware of, what is it that they don't know and how can they protect themselves from all the thing in this internet world.
Yes, I would love that. And I'll even, on that call, I'll show them the shopping list on the dark web, because the dark web is like this scary thing, and it is, but no one really knows about it.
Yeah.
Like, what exactly is it? So
But
I
they
can
don't
actually
wanna
show
touch
you. Yeah, I can show you a shopping list in that seminar where you can buy someone's hacked PayPal account for $100, right? So you can use that PayPal account to scam other people. It's the amount of like infrastructure and economy that's been built by just the hackers, I guess, for lack of a better term. It's pretty incredible. So we see it every day, just like you guys see the tax system every day, and that's what hurts my heart, and so that's what we're here to help people with, is to protect them.
Awesome. And I have a last question.
Sure.
How can we help you promoting your business?
Oh, well, thank you. Just helping let customers know that it's better if you have an outsourced IT company before it's too late. And I know, listen, I grew this business from scratch. I didn't have a budget for many years. You're just kind of paying for things as you need to. But the earlier you can get an outsourced person who's trustworthy, who has some standards as part of some type of governing body, the sooner you can do that, the better, because it's much, much cheaper to pay for these tools than to experience, the getting taken advantage of on the other end. And we see it all the time in industries that are boring. Like, oh, I'm just a house builder. Oh, I'm just a landscaper. Oh, I just do legal services for whatever industry. But it happens all the time. So if you guys can just think of us, and I'm always open for a phone call. Foojee.com, we misspelled the name, but it's my favorite Apple. So it's FOOJEE.com. You can reach out to us and actually book a call straight from our website, just so we can have a conversation and learn about your business and what might be kind of a good way to get started with your cybersecurity.
And if some of our clients are interested in talking to you, what would be the best way to reach out to your company, Foojee? Is it by email, phone number, or you have a Calendly link?
Great question. We do have a Calendly link that I can send you, and also on our website, Foojee.com, you can actually book a call that ties into our calendar. So Foojee.com, that's another new little process, going back to process that we've implemented. And so if you go to our website, you can book a call right there. And then my email is lucas@foojee.com, LUCAS, and anyone's always more than welcome to shoot off an email, and I'm happy to answer questions.
Okay. Pasting a Calendly link might be difficult on the video, just for some audience who listening. And your company brand is very easy to remember, which is FO, or is it 2 O or just 1 O?
I have usually O's. I know it's weird.
So let's start over. It's OOJEE.com.
Yes.
That's your website, and they can book an appointment through your website. Awesome.
Yes, that's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lucas, and it's nice to have you here. And thank you so much for your time and sharing about cybersecurity with us.
Yeah, thank you so much. For the help that you've already given us at Foojee in the tens of thousands of dollars, and just the strategy and security that you've provided. And yeah, I'm excited for our partnership, and I'm here anytime if you guys have questions.